Hey, what's going on, man? You already know what it is. It's another story time or episode or wherever we're gonna call this thing. Of See What I See. And just tell you what I went through today as a security guard. So today as security guard, it was really, really wet, really, really rainy, which I'm getting kind of tired of all the rain that we've been having every week. And it's weird because a couple of days ago, when it rains and I go into work, it makes everybody leave. And when everybody leave, it makes my job a whole lot easier. I don't like the people at my job that's walking around and stuff like that, the residents or the customers and all that. So a lot of times, I'm happy when it rains because they clear out, makes my job a whole lot easier. And the other day I was just like, man, I like the rain, man. I'm so happy with this rain. And it was like soon I said that now it's been raining and it's gonna be raining for the next like 5 days or so. And I'm like, why did I open up my big mouth and say that? So anyway, I get to work. I'm always on time. All right. My supervisor usually come in probably like a minute or so, after the time that it's supposed to be there. But then we got this one guy who's always late. Always 20 minutes, 18 minutes late. And it's really starting to piss me off because he's always late. Now it's just me, the supervisor. We'll call this guy B, and then we got a girl named T. T, she can't work on the weekends. And now uh she said she can't even work more shifts because she has another job. So I think she works about 3 or 4 days out of the week. And now because of that, they put me on the schedule to work 6 days out of the week. Now, it has been times where I went in to work on my days off, getting that bread. But for you to just put me on there and take one of my days off, piss me off. All right. So we already got one person who can't work on weekends, and now they can't work as many days. Then we got another guy who always comes in late, which makes our job a little harder when he comes in late. Doesn't care about the job. He's like he's about to move in with his mom and dad, so he really don't care about the job. But they can't fire him because we can't get nobody to work overnight shift, right? Can't get nobody to work overnight shift, so we're stuck with this guy. And then my supervisor, he just is to the point it's just laughable to him at this point because the guy just doesn't care. So that already irritates me when I come in. So it's already raining. The guy's showing up late as usual. Um, and it's raining, so I go outside and I notice it's a sudden change in the weather. Now that's what it's May. Yo, man, it should be warmer than what it is right now. But whatever. I go out there, I start doing my job, and one of the things I cannot stand about my job is that they want us watching everything, staying on the street, making sure we watch everything, and being in the main areas to make sure that everybody is copacetic. Everything is good. No suspicious activity, no loud noises. No fights or anything. Drunken, disorderly or whatever. But it's frustrating because they have us do quote kind of like almost janitorial work. I signed up to be a security guard, all right, not a janitor. Now, in this thing, we have this thing, if you watch my other videos, called the plaza. It's this big old thing called the plaza. There's these tables, there's these chairs, there's these benches that's in this big old middle area where people can go, sit down, eat food, listen to music that's going on if they got live entertainment, whatever. And anytime that they're having an event, since we're the overnight guys, they will tell us, hey, we need y'all to pick up all these tables, all these benches, and move them to the side and clear out the whole thing. I'm security, not your janitor, not your mover and mover company. Now it's raining outside, it's cold outside, and you want us to move all this stuff. And that just, I don't know, it just pisses me off, man. It gets on my nerves. I'm sitting up there moving all this stuff. How can I watch what's going on in the main areas where we're supposed to be at, which is like down the street when you got me over here moving tables and stuff? They have this thing called operations. They're the ones that's supposed to do that stuff. But anytime the next morning that they're gonna have some type of event or whatever going on, they want us to do this damn handy dandy work. And it pisses me off, man. Because I'm supposed to be security, not your mover. But anyway, so As the night goes on, it rains and rains some more. I am proud of myself because I've been trying to save up my money. Just save, been working, 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 saving. Haven't been eating out. Haven't been, going to restaurants and stuff like that. I may give me like a little juice or something like that every now and then, but for the most part, like I was really craving some food tonight, and I usually go get this burger and fries and drink. Give me like a Coke or something like that. But I just got me a Coca-Cola and they gave that to me for free. And I made my food. At home, I've been making nothing but turkey. I've been making what's that? Sliced turkey cheese Miracle Whip sandwiches and peanut butter and jelly. And I've been stacking up on like 4 sandwiches a day. And that's it. That's it. I might make some pancakes or something like that when I get home or whatever, but that's it, man. Been saving money. So I'm really, really glad because I was so tempted. I was so tempted to go and get that burger and them fries today. So I'm proud of myself about that. But other than that, for the most part, man, the night was pretty chill. Nothing really crazy happened or anything like that. I did my walkthroughs and stuff, uploaded some videos. Just been on my I got other YouTube channels, and uploading some stuff to my websites and things like that. But something did happen at the end of the night. So it's about I get off work at like 6 at 5:40 something. I'm standing on this thing on the street. And in the morning time, a lot of the residents will wake up early in the morning and they'll walk the property, to get their workout in and get their steps in the morning or whatnot. So I'm used to seeing that. But this gentleman walked past me, older male, white man, bald headed, mustache, beard, glasses, had a black T-shirt that said Falcons across it. And he said, "Hey, what are you doing with you doing something with your mom today?" And I was like, "Yeah, because today's Mother's Day. Shout out to all the mothers out there. Shout out to my mom. Well, my moms. I got a lot of moms. But my birth mother as well. But I got a lot of moms. Um, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be doing something, with my mom." I told him what I wanted to do, and I was like, "Well, this is what I want to do. It's this safari that they have. This safari where you can drive your car and you be in the car, and the animals can walk up to the car, and you can feed the animals and all that. But it may rain." So the gentleman was like, "Well, hey, why don't you look at the forecast? I always look at the forecast when I step outside because it depends on when the rain starts happening." Sure enough, I looked. It said it won't start raining until like around 4 or 5 o'clock, maybe 6 p.m. So if I get to my mom's house by noon, it takes us like an hour to get out there. We can be out there for a couple hours before the rain hits. It's gonna be cloudy, but we can still get out there. So that's what I'm hoping. Probably get like 4 hours of sleep, then try to head over there to where my mom is at after I do this video. And he was like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." So I asked him, "Man, sorry, got our two dogs over here. Man, they stink. Goodness, I gotta clean up after them." But so they was like, um, oh, he was like, I asked him, "What are you gonna do with your mom?" He said, "Well, I did some with my mom yesterday because I wanted to miss all the madness of all the Mother's Day and stuff. We wanted to go out. They went to an Irish pub. They got some good food and stuff, but it was real loud because it was a big soccer games and stuff like that going on." So we were talking and stuff, and I don't know, man. We just had this really long conversation. Mind you, it's already 6:40. I mean 5:40 something. I get off at 6, and I talked to this guy the whole time, and we were just talking about life. We were talking about God. We were talking about Jesus. We were talking about how sometimes in life, and it's weird. Before I get into this, it was weird because I was already feeling kind of down today. I don't know why. Sometimes I just have my moments where I'm so deep into thought, and he was telling me how he's alone. He has his ex-wife, his daughter, and son-in-law, and how he's alone, and the things that he's been through in life. He said one time, I think back in the '70s, he overdosed on drugs, died, and came back to life. That was crazy. And he said ever since then, you know, s- things pull on his heart to talk to certain people and stuff like that, which was deep. And he also told me about how he cut his finger off and then it got sewed back together. He's no longer able to play the guitar like he used to. He also dropped an entire album so that his grandchildren can, if he ever passed away, they could have something to listen to by him. And he just released it on Spotify and stuff. And basically, he was telling me about how it's not about good or bad when things are happening in your life, but more so about how you look at things. He was like, he told me that at the time when him and his ex were getting married, he was making like $8 an hour. He's pretty broke. He's like, how I'm going to pay for this wedding. And he said one day he was driving and he was getting off on his exit. I think he was going on a roundabout. The car behind him was going on a roundabout, and the car hit the gas, ran into the back of him. And so he could have been like, "Oh man, this is so messed up," blah blah blah, real pissed off. But next thing you know, from the insurance or whatever like that, he gets a check that's enough to help him pay for the wedding. And he gave me a couple other scenarios, and he was saying like, sometimes where you are is where you need to be. Sometimes things aren't a mistake. You're right where you need to be at. And I was telling him a little bit about what I do and things like that, as far as my real career. And it was something that I needed to hear, man, because every time that I have to suit up, I go to work. It's a reminder for me of one, of where I don't want to be, two, of where I was, and three, where I want to go and get back to. Me having to come back and work a security job is, to me, was so is I don't want to use the word humbling because I've always been a humble person, but it's a eye opener about how you could make a mistake or make mistakes, and how easy it is that things can turn around, whether for the worse or whether for the better. But it's letting me see how I look at things. Like I walk a whole lot, man. I probably get about 17 to 20,000 steps in a day. It's helped me get back into shape. I do a lot of thinking because I work overnight. So I'm like, okay, is this whole situation and thing that happened and I might have to talk about that in another video, but the thing that happened in my career, was making six figures, making good money, working for myself for the past 4.5 years, traveling in and out of the country all the time. I mean, to be back here, like, put it to you like this: when I'm working this security job, what people make in 2 weeks, even if they grind almost every single day, getting overtime and all that, what they make in 2 weeks, man, I used to make in an hour, 2 hours, easy. So it hurts, man. Like, it hurts. Working really hard, trying to get back to where I used to be, it hurts. Um, but it made me do some self-reflecting. Like, there was a lot of things I could have did a lot better. There were things that I could have um used a lot more discipline on, self-control on. And that's why I'm just learning. Like, I'm learning myself, like, man, I'm not the first man to have had success and then lose it all and then have to get it back and then did even better than what he did last time. And that's what I'm on the verge of, you know. Having that talk with that gentleman tonight was just a confirmation of some different feelings that I've already had. I gave that man a hug. He almost started tearing up in front of me, man. He was just talking about how life can be hard, man, and but we gotta press through, and we can't always rely on our understanding. Basically, what he was telling me, you know. I believe that man name was Tim. I believe his name. I told him I'm gonna see him again. I'm like, cause he always walks out there in the morning. So I said, hey, look, every time that I work, I'm gonna be around this area. I'm gonna look for you, man, so we could chop it up. And this doesn't happen very much, but every blue, and I'm talking about every, it's almost like an eclipse. I think about having, what if it would be like to have a family, or not be alone, have that family structure and stuff. But then it goes away. It's just, I don't know. I think I'm a type of person who just want it to be about them, and have just live my life, man. I'm already almost what, I'll be 40 in a couple years. You know what I mean? Don't have no kids already, so but hey, you never know. You never know. But I definitely don't want to here in America. I definitely want to leave the country. Definitely be outside of the country. But that was the rest of my day, man. So today is Mother's Day. I'm about to go and get some rest. Go chill with my mom. I'll probably put up the video and stuff if we do get a chance to go out there. See, I can see what I see. It won't just be all security stories. uh and yeah, man, go from there. So, but I really, really appreciate everybody that's watching the video. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And share some of your stories. You know, if you ever were a security guard or had interactions with a security guard or had an interaction with a person out of the blue that was a very, very meaningful and heartfelt conversation and it was a complete stranger. Hey, go ahead. And is there anybody on your job that gets on your nerves that come in late, don't have any accountability, take things as a joke and make it harder for everybody else on the shift? You drop that in the comments too, man. And I ask, I'm like, man, what does it take to fire this dude, man, or get us some more help? And they're like, man, it's hard to find people to work overnight, and people that do come work overnight usually are clowns that don't take the job serious. I'm like, my goodness, man. I'm already thinking about getting a second job, but man, this job, if this job wasn't so cool and easy, I probably would quit, man, because it's just ridiculous. We don't have enough help. So I'll talk to y'all later. Thank y'all very much for watching the video, and I'll talk to y'all later, man. Peace.